Welcome back, everybody, to episode 3 of the Hold Your Rank podcast with Andrew and Will, the show where we will basically rank anything in a top 10 list. Today's topic is The Office. You ready, Will?
I'm super excited about this
All right,
one.
awesome. Yeah, I think that this topic, for me, it was easily the hardest to get a list for.
Absolutely.
I don't know, man. I think I spent a total of like my entire Sunday yesterday is like trying to figure out a list. I swear to
Wow.
God, yeah. I was even rewatching episodes. I was like, what are my favorite episodes again? But I think I got a decent list here. So with that being said, you want to go first?
Well, yeah, I just feel like before we even get into it too,
Yeah.
I feel like putting 10, doing top 10 is such like a disservice because I could probably do like top 50.
No, honestly, yeah. The Office is that type of show too, where
Yeah.
it's like,
Especially if we're just doing, because we debated doing characters, but we figured that would get too repetitive.
yeah, exactly.
We said maybe do episodes, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe episodes might have worked, but I just feel like, we would have just ended up talking about the moments anyway, you know? And there's I feel like there's some moments where maybe it wasn't the best episode, but one of the moments is just crazy. So we kind of just settled on moments, but really just because it doesn't make, at least for me, just because a moment that didn't make my list doesn't mean that it's not the greatest.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so
you want me to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So number 10 for me is the conference room meeting with Prison Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, just the worst part of prison was the Dementors.
Okay.
That just was really funny. It's just a great episode or a great scene.
Yeah, I was considering doing that scene too, but something that the reason why why that scene took me away in general is because for me watching The Office, I've always found that the funniest parts in the show are always the beginning, the beginning little snippets for me.
The cold opens.
The cold opens. Yeah. I don't know, man. I for my 10, I actually have in the murder episode,
Okay.
The finger gun thing where Dwight, Andy, and
that's
Michael,
at the end though, right?
Was it? Well, okay, well still here. It's still in my top 10.
The exact opposite of
exact opposite of what I said, but we're good. But that scene in general, I remember that got me dying in that episode, but not just that. In the beginning of that episode, so now I am not contradicting myself here. Dwight's karate demonstration. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
When
he's
Jim was
yeah. There's
was
one thing that a 1,000-year-old martial arts does is change. And it's Dwight updating us on karate.
Oh my God, yeah. and Jim's like, you the only the best person to fight is yourself. So he's fighting himself. That's great. That's one of my favorites easily.
That's funny.
Yeah, no.
So your 10. So my 10 was Prison Mike, and then your 10 was So what was your 10? The finger guns or the karate?
I'm really just talking about this episode in general, but there's just so many things in this episode.
Did you do top 10 episodes?
I did top 10 episodes originally, but I can even just talk about the things in the episode.
What is your list right now? Is it moments or episodes?
For me, it's episodes, but I have moments in the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So it's gonna be a little different. Okay.
Yeah, I don't care. I can do whatever.
So I guess let's do that. So that probably would be a top 10 episode for me. So the episode where everyone transferred in from Stanford. They find out that one guy went to prison. Everyone's freaking out. One of my favorite scenes in that episode is when the guy went to prison for insider trading.
Yes.
And Kevin's I had him explain to me what insider trading is very specifically, and I do that every day.
Kevin's probably my top 3 favorite characters. That's a good difference.
Yeah.
Kevin's just great overall. So we're in agreement that we'll do episodes and moments, I guess.
I guess so. We'll do episodes, and then just obviously your favorite.
Just talk about the moments.
Episode,
yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right. Now that we've discovered that. Now that we've figured that out, we can continue on the episode.
All right. So for me, number 9 on my list is the Survivor Man episode.
Oh
when,
my God!
Michael's trying to survive in the forest on his own.
And Dwight's following him, and Dwight's he's like, I will not intervene. He goes, but I will watch. I will watch over him like a guardian.
Like a guardian, yeah. No, because I just find that episode that shows us Michael's stupidity to a new level. When he was about to eat the freaking mushroom, and Dwight's like, no, that is just easily one of my favorite scenes of the show right there.
Yeah. And when he's like, I I can cut off my pants and use them as a bandana.
Yeah.
Then he's like, oh, I'm getting cold. And he tapes his pants back
Takes his
together.
pants, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I find it funny too. Like Dwight was the best person to go with him on that excursion too, because like Dwight knew what he was doing in that matter. But God, I mean,
It's so funny.
It's just
Or
great.
when Michael's like, or when Dwight starts like beating Michael with like his shoe.
Yeah,
He's like, you have to be
You
disoriented.
can be disoriented. Yeah, no.
Oh my God.
God.
All right, so for me, number 9 is the episode with Jan where Michael runs out of money. So he declares bankruptcy. It's like, I declare bankruptcy. Or when, and then at the end he just like gets on like the train. He's like, I'm gonna become a hobo.
Yeah.
That's so funny to me.
Yeah,
That's such a funny episode.
I mean, I always found that Jan's character was always a little, I don't know. I was never a big Jan fan.
I don't think you were supposed to be.
No pun intended. But like, I don't know. Like, out of all the people Michael was with throughout the show, I just feel like she was like the most boring in my opinion. She just wasn't like as interesting. Like, going a little, I guess, off topic of what you were saying, but I don't know.
Well, so now let me ask you a question. And I was trying to figure. I was having this conversation this weekend because I was watching The Office because now it's on Comedy Central like all day. Like that's
really?
That's all Comedy Central.
It's not
shows.
just on Netflix.
It's not. Yeah. It's on Comedy Central, and from like 1:00 in the afternoon to like 7:00 every day, it's just like The Office. So I'm normally that's like what I'm watching. I feel like. And it was the episode where they have the baby shower for Jan.
Yeah.
Do they ever say who the father of the baby is?
I remember in the beginning of that episode, maybe not the beginning.
It's like not Michael. They all make fun of Michael.
Michael was saying that he was.
Yeah.
Like there's like I remember like Pam was like saying one of the things like Michael's saying like he is the father or whatever. But like
I think it's the assistant, right? That's like what it's supposed to be.
That's
like
what it's supposed to represent the kid. Yeah, the kid in like you're talking about the kid. I'm saying the corporate quarter.
Yeah, I'm saying he's the father.
I think he is.
That's what they allude to.
Yeah, and then like
the one who
the one that's I know exactly who you're talking about.
The one who made her like the CD.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God,
I forget his name.
I can't remember either, but all I know is that it was definitely not Michael, and it's just
we know that.
It blows my mind how throughout.
And then Michael goes to Daryl, and he's like from one baby daddy to another. He's like, you're not a baby daddy.
You're not a baby daddy. Yeah. No. God. All right. So for number 8, this is I wasn't too sure if I wanted to put this on my list or not, but in the end, I decided there's a fair amount of information in this episode that I want to use anyway. So for Casino Night,
oh my gosh,
I'm going deep into this episode. So first things first, we get introduced to Kevin's band. That Kevin is in a band, rather. Sorry, and that's something that kind of goes out through the entire show, like how Kevin's like a good drummer and whatnot.
So now, did you know that Kevin's band, in real life, it's obviously it wasn't Kevin, but everyone else in the band were the people that performed the theme song.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? No, it was like I've been meaning to watch that podcast that you're talking about. With Jenna
the
Fisher
Office
and Angela Kinsey.
Yes.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, no, it was like that seems like something that I'd really be into because it just tells you everything from
they basically
to
rewatched The Office. So they just did Booze Cruise.
Yeah.
And they just basically like tell like the stories of like stuff that like happened like while filming.
Stuff that maybe was improv or whatever.
Right. Like what was improv, like what their experiences were like, if something like funny happened like behind the scenes. They try to get on like a different like guests, like they'll get on like like I think they had on Greg Daniels in the last episode.
The guy
who like
producer.
made the episode or who made the show. Or they'll get like they had on Dwight one episode. They had on Jan.
Okay.
Who else did they have?
Yeah, how long was that even going on for? Because I feel like I heard about that recently. It wasn't even.
They're only in season 2, so I think they started in like October.
Yeah, because like obviously like The Office is that show that really blew up after the finale. So it's like you think so? I always viewed it as
they were the number 1 rated show on television.
Yeah,
like
but
their entire stretch.
I never heard people talk about The Office until
I think it's because our generation picked it up on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we're really like the second generation to like get into it. Like you had the generation of people who are maybe in like their like 30s
Yep.
who like watched it live.
Yeah.
And then you have everyone who caught it again on Netflix.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, Casino Night, Kevin's Band. That's obviously something it's cool looked into. But I find it so funny that with Creed's cheating and he won the refrigerator, like the free refrigerator from Vance Refrigeration. God, Creed is easily one of my favorite characters. Simply just like
Creed's the best.
Yeah, or have you ever seen like what's your theory on the Scranton Strangler?
It's Toby.
I know it's Toby.
It's Toby.
For the longest time, don't ask me why.
You thought it was Creed?
I thought it was Creed.
No, it's Toby.
Yeah, I mean, it's like stupid to me too as to why I thought it would be Creed, because obviously like, Toby talks about the entire show, like, yeah, I was sitting on the jury case of the Scranton Strangler. But yeah, I mean, other than that, Kevin being like this insane like poker player and Phyllis like beating him with a flush. Like that was Kevin's just like, I suck at poker. That was just so funny to me. Toby beating Michael in like 2 seconds. Michael goes all in.
I feel like you're leaving out the most important part of that episode.
What, when Michael brings the 2 dates?
No.
What's that?
Pam and Jim.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's like that with the ending, yeah. That's really the first time we see them like.
What I love about that episode and what I love about that moment is that it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like we all knew that was eventually was gonna have to happen.
Eventually.
But it wasn't like Jim said in the beginning of the episode, like, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? He literally was just like did it.
I think it was after that conversation with Jan. I remember when Jan was like smoking by the car.
Yeah. And Jan's like, you just gotta just do it. And she was talking about Michael, I think.
Yeah. And
he was like, all right, like this is it.
Yeah. I mean, that was also I remember my wash through. I always like expected something to happen in those like first 3 seasons at the end of each. Like I always knew when I was at the end of each season, obviously, because I was watching it through Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I would know like when it's gonna hit next season. So like, okay, I'm predicting at the end of this season is when stuff actually happens.
Yeah.
And like, it's like I always kind of knew. It sounds kind of weird. Like I expected for that episode that something was gonna happen. I didn't know what it was gonna be.
In the finale, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's really what I predicted from that. Michael bringing the 2 dates, I just found funny.
You know the one woman, the real estate agent, is his wife, like in real life.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
You're teaching me like all this new stuff.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know I don't know a lot of stuff outside the show, to be honest. I really just watched the show.
Yeah.
I started watching like maybe 2 summers ago.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's really.
Yeah, no, the real estate agent, I forget her name. That's Steve Carell's wife in real life.
That's actually so funny. I didn't even know that. But that's like the only time you see her throughout the show. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I got for episode. That's what I got for my number 8. I just think that the episode in general, I love the idea. It's definitely something that had to happen in the show, like that type of humor overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you got?
So number 8 for me is the finale.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. This is something I can talk about with you. So.
What do you mean?
The finale. I was like, do I even want to put the finale on my list? Okay. Because the finale, other than the fact that it was really long, I didn't know if I wanted to add it to my top 10, which I didn't. But that was only because I felt like there was just it's like it's hard to even like give you a good answer, to be honest. Why I just felt that throughout my time watching The Office, I was upset watching the finales. I didn't want it to end. I was binging the show the entire summer of 2018, I think. I just remember at the end of the summer just being like, damn, this is it. And then I mean, go on. Like, what's your reasoning for putting the finale at 8?
Well, first of all, let me start out by this. I feel like obviously like after like Steve Carell left, like the show dipped in quality.
Definitely.
But I'm not one of those people that believe like, oh, like, it's like unwatchable.
Yeah.
Or it got like considerably worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I still like enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like obviously like it was like better with Michael Scott. Mm-hmm. But I did enjoy those later seasons. I did like the finale. I thought it was a good episode. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I thought it was a good ending with Dwight and Angela getting married.
Yeah.
My favorite moment in the finale is when Michael comes back.
Yeah, definitely. I was a little disappointed by that though, only because he didn't have much screen time.
He didn't.
I mean, granted, I knew that's something they had to do because they weren't just gonna give the person that left the show a ton of screen
It
time
would have
just
been
for
a
fan
slap in the
service.
face.
It would
Yeah.
have been a slap in the
To
face.
everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I remember watching the finale and just being like, um, with Ryan's baby or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That threw me for a loop. I remember
Mm-hmm.
I think Ryan's character progressively just got like more degenerate as the
Oh,
show went on.
absolutely.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
he started off like in the beginning of the show, like
Started off like a
I'm going to
normal
a
like
business.
college
I'm going to a
kid. Yeah.
business
Yeah. Yeah.
school right now. Like, I'm only planning on staying here for like the summer, and then I'm just gonna leave or whatever. And he gets promoted or
You know,
whatever. Then he gets arrested.
Ryan,
He was the
and
producer.
well, they wrote the show.
Well,
Him and
Brian
Kelly
and Kelly,
and
yeah,
Toby.
and
That's
Toby.
why they have to sit in the annex.
And Phyllis, I think, right?
Phyllis was like part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the three main ones, that's why they sat in the quote unquote annex. Because they couldn't be on screen while they were writing.
Wait, so what do you mean? Like, why wouldn't they just write the episode and then shoot the episode? Like,
Well, they usually did both at the same time, or while they were shooting one episode,
right,
they were
because
writing the next one.
Yeah, because the show would be, I guess, mostly improv from what they've said in interviews, right? They would just be bouncing off what one another says. I mean, yeah. Going back to the finale, though, I think that the show definitely ended in a proper. They gave the show a proper ending.
They did. It was a proper ending. Yeah.
With Jim and Pam moving on to Texas to get to
Yeah,
work with
Texas.
Daryl.
Yeah.
Dwayne and Andrew getting married, like you said. I mean, I'm not really complaining.
Andy finally is happy with his life.
Yeah. Oh my god, I forgot about that part.
Andy, in my opinion, has
video.
the best ending.
Really, I was disappointed with. I think I was actually disappointed the most with Andy's ending because I was always like, I always kind of viewed Andy as like the one that was gonna be pretty successful. I don't know why, but I just didn't like how they pretty much made him go to crap after the video that was always with him having the tantrum that. I don't know. I didn't really like what they did with his character. But
I feel like that was so in his character. I feel like his entire thing was just how he was successful, but he basically he was basically like the failure of his family.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to impress them, and then in the end he was just after the thing happened to him and after that video went viral of him and he was basically just became a national embarrassment.
Yeah, a meme.
He was just you know what, it's whatever. I'm fine. I personally like that a lot.
Yeah, so let me ask you before we get off the topic of the finale. Overall, you were talking about before how you thought Michael Scott was the best boss overall. Who do you think was the best after Michael out of Robert California, D'Angelo, Andy at a point? Who do you think was the best boss after Michael? Before Michael, rather.
Well, I feel like Andy was the boss the most.
Yeah.
I do like when Creed was the boss. That was funny.
Actually, I completely forgot. What even happened with that? I completely forgot.
They were we have to find a manager and give it to the
person who's worked the longest.
Give it to the most senior guy or whatever, and then it was Creed. And then Creed was like, "What language is this?"
Yeah, no, Creed is great. So moving on to number 7 for me, it's the episode called Branch Wars. It's the one where
yes,
the one where they steal the photocopy machine because they thought that they thought that the Utica branch was poaching Stanley. Yeah. I wish I wish that Stanley, for his sake, I wish that Stanley took that deal. I was always shocked at the end of that episode, other than the fact that obviously I keep him in the show, but I was shocked that they didn't really have him work there for a couple episodes, similar to what Jim had with the Stamford branch.
Yeah,
I felt that Stanley, you remember that episode where he's like, "I don't respect you, Michael, but I'll work with you," or something like that.
Yeah.
I always felt that Stanley
I feel like he didn't want to move.
That. I guess. I mean,
he want to move. He had kids. He didn't
yeah,
but
I remember. Was it Karen, Jim's other girlfriend?
Yeah.
I remember Karen being like, well, Stanley's gonna be fine. He has a house. He's gonna get a house in Utica. He's gonna have his family move up with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's so funny when they go with the fake mustaches. They're just sitting there on the walkie-talkie. Yeah, and they're rolling the copier.
It goes down the stairs.
Yeah, it goes down the stairs. Oh.
Yeah, and then you hear the walkie-talkies going off with the windows rolled down while Jim's in the car. So Karen walks over to the car and just slowly rolling back. That's great. I love it when they threw Jim's phone outside. And Jim's like, I'm gonna call a cab, like on the way there,
and they just
and then
chuck it
just like
out.
they chuck the phone, and Jim's like, well, there goes like all the baby pictures,
Yeah.
something like that, and then there's like, oh shoot, they just like turn around, get the phone, like it still worked. That was just that was
That was a great
awesome.
episode.
Yeah. So you have anything else to add for that, or are you going to go into your 7?
I'll do my 7. So my
Awesome.
7 is the CPR training episode. So when
Yo.
Stanley so I guess I should probably, so I have a couple of moments from this episode,
Awesome.
but so the Dwight fire drill
Yeah.
obviously is
Yeah.
what it starts out with. And so then Stanley has a heart attack as a result.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're all like, all right, like we need to, or no,
That was stress
it,
relief. That the one where Stanley had the heart attack was stress relief.
that was from the stairs, right?
You're talking about what? What was from the stairs? Stanley's heart attack?
Yeah. Remember
No,
when
Stanley's
Stanley had
heart
the
attack was from. That was from when.
Was that from when Dwight had the fire drill?
Dwight had the fire drill, but it was because everybody was like terrified, and he just like broke down in the heart attack.
Right. But and then they bring in the CPR lady.
Oh, right. Yeah,
That's what I'm. That's the same episode, right?
There was a part 1 and a part 2. Yes. Okay, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
So then, so that scene obviously with the CPR lady.
Yeah.
And then they're like staying alive, and then
yeah.
Michael starts off with like the downbeat, and
Yeah.
then and then Creed is, and then Kelly just starts like dancing, and then Creed's like, "Oh, you were in the parking lot earlier. That's how I know you."
Yeah. Yeah, and Andy just like going off with the song.
And then Dwight just like rips off like the face. It's like we have to
he,
harvest
like,
the
wears
organs.
it. Yeah.
No,
That was
he
awesome.
has no arms or legs. Like, is he even worth saving?
Yeah. I remember not expecting him to rip the face off. So I just lost it at that part. That was they definitely did a good job at that part.
I feel
that
like
episode,
whoever like wrote like that scene, like in like particular, like I feel like that like every character in that scene like is like so funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think of who out of like, I mean, obviously it could have been like other producers too. But like, what's it? Imagine like Ryan, Kelly, or Toby writing that scene. Like
it's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, I have that episode too in my list. I'll get to my parts on it later, but unless you want me to go on to it now since we're on the topic.
No, go ahead.
But so this is my number 2.
So then
don't. So
we'll get up to 2.
Yeah, we'll get up to it. Okay. So in that case, then we'll just move on to 6. For 6, this episode was on my top list only because most people hated this episode.
Okay.
But this is the type of humor that I look for in that show, and that's Scott's Tots.
Oh my god. People don't hate that episode.
No, I'll be honest. Everybody that I talked to watching the show was like, I think I told you I have a friend who just despises Michael as a character. He just he was so happy. He was so happy when he left or whatever. But I remember I remember he was just like, this is the cringiest episode ever. I don't know why. I don't know why Michael would wait 10 years. It was like 10 years or something like that, right? They were in like 3rd grade or whatever. He's like, I don't know how you'd wait like 10 years just to tell him that he didn't have that money. He's like, well, I thought I was gonna be rich by then. Like,
oh my god, that episode is so hard to watch.
It's so hard to watch.
So hard to watch.
That's like the thing.
I remember, but it's so good.
Yeah, I was watching the show yesterday actually, just because like I had nothing else ready to do, and there's a couple episodes where I remember just pausing at midterm, like, I'm gonna skip through this.
Yeah.
I can't even sit through this. But yeah, I mean that's really why I like Michael as a character so much, because he just they just made him not give a crap. he was just awesome. It was really upsetting when he left. The jingle was another thing that I really loved in the episode, like the "Hey, Mr. Scott,
what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Make our dreams come true." And then he goes, listen, he's like, college is hard. He goes, but something that'll make it easier is laptops. And all the kids like, oh wow. And he's like,
you get the batteries.
You can't have laptops without batteries.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like that kind of reminds me of the episode with the career day thing where they go to the store,
gosh.
and
they go with a single sheet of paper.
Yeah, but the guy writes on the paper, and then he's like, Pam, you gotta go get us another sheet of paper. She goes like into the art studio, gets a piece of paper, like, there's not Dunder Mifflin paper. So she makes her drive all the way back to Dunder Mifflin to get like the good paper or whatever. I forget what the name of it was, but he wanted her to get like the best possible paper that they had.
Oh my gosh.
Like, presentation matters. All right, what's your 6?
So my 6 is let's see. Oh, so my 6 is the episode where so when Andy is engaged to Angela and then
Yeah.
finds out that she's having an affair with Dwight.
Yeah.
And so then Andy challenges Dwight to a duel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're like all like outside and like Dwight's waiting in like the parking lot. And then Andy just comes like creeping up in like his like Prius.
Yeah.
And he just like pins Dwight up against like the bush, and they're just like yelling at like, each other.
I love that.
That's such a
I mean,
funny
I've always
episode.
loved the Dwight and Andy like rivalry because I remember being introduced to Andy in like season 3, I think it was,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I can tell that when him and Dwight cross paths, this is gonna get like really funny really quick.
Yeah.
It's like it also reminds me of like in the first episode when Stanford and what do you call it, Scranton merged together. They just like they're just like trying to make a good impression on each other or whatever. Which with the what was it? There's a part where I lost my train of thought, dude. But there's a part where like they would always try and do good deeds for each other, and Dwight was like, "I'll hold the door for you," and then Dwight and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that." That was so funny.
Well, they had to I saw something where they because I really like Andy as like a character.
No, yeah, he's one of my favorites easily.
But like in the beginning, like when like he's in Stanford and then like before he like punches like the wall, like he's like a completely like different character.
With the he went like, for the anger management.
Right, he went to like anger management, and the reason why they did that was because they said at that time they knew that he was going to end up being manager after Steve Carell left, and they said he's not likable enough to like be like the lead.
Yeah.
So they said we have to make him sympathetic. So that's why they added that whole thing with him and like his like parents, and like his parents don't like him.
Yeah. I think his brother's better than him at everything. I mean, and I mean another thing you taught me there, I didn't know that, but I don't know. I always liked Andy in general. Like, I like Andy too. I'm surprised I even said that some people like would not like him enough for him to be
it's because if you go back and look, he's very like he's just different. Like he's very different. Like he's like much more of like a hothead. Like obviously like, he like punches the wall.
Yeah.
He's not really like
he's definitely different in like seasons. Yes. I noticed in like 6 and 7 is where he really like changed as a character. Like once Aaron really came in, that was like where
110%.
That was where he really just changed. But overall, I mean, even as a manager, I thought Andy was great as a manager. I like that. I like that part of the show.
Yes.
In general, I was always happy that they didn't really put Dwight as the manager.
No, you can't make Dwight manager
until the very end. Like I'm happy that they never did that. Like obviously in the end, like I'm always that type of person watching shows where like I'm rooting for people. Like I'm rooting for Dwight. I wanted to be the manager, but like
no,
it would have ruined the show.
If you made Dwight manager, because Dwight's 2 main goals during the entire show were become manager and then fire Jim.
Yeah.
So if you make him manager, then there's no reason for him not to fire Jim.
And that was another big thing with Ryan as corporate.
Yeah.
As a corporate thing. He was trying to get rid of Jim for so long.
Because they knew he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like everyone loves Jim, but Jim is like a terrible employee.
Oh yeah, he's
like,
awful.
Like think of all the people who wanted to fire him. Ryan wanted to fire him.
Yeah,
Dwight wanted to fire him. What's his face wanted to fire him? Who's the guy that was gonna be like or who's the guy that took over?
Oh, Gabe?
No. Oh my God.
D'Angelo?
What's his name? Not even D'Angelo. What's his name?
Robert California?
Robert California too. Robert California was like threatening to fire him. But oh my God, what's his name? He took over for he was the guy who liked soccer, and he was the guy who made Michael leave to start Michael Scott Paper Company.
Wait, I think
what's that actor's name?
I think I know exactly who you're talking about, but I just damn, are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot remember.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, was it the guy that was it the guy that was gonna like beat up Michael or whatever at the certain scene? Yeah, it was him. Yeah.
Oh my God, what's his name?
Is it the dark skinned guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just can't remember. I can't remember his name. Everybody I almost called her Mindy. The actor who played Kelly. Well, not the actor, but Kelly herself wanted to get with him. I remember that. Yeah. Are you able to find the name?
Idris Elba.
Oh,
him.
Yeah.
He wanted to fire. They all did.
Yeah,
because he was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching him though. I kind of wanted him to stay longer. I thought he was a funny character.
No, he was a good character.
Like I said, like a couple minutes ago, where he's about to beat up Michael or whatever. That was That was so funny. It was like he was really, I think, the only person that put Michael in his place like hard, other than Ryan when he was a corporate person. Because like Michael would do anything for Ryan.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, all right. So you got your number 5. You want to say that?
So number 5 for me is the fun run episode.
Yo, yeah.
So it starts off with Michael hitting Meredith with his car.
Yeah. I
And
didn't know that was actually the episode where Meredith got hit by the car. That's crazy.
yeah. And then so then they're like, all right, we have to do a fun run to like raise awareness
Yeah.
for her rabies. So and then
Like everybody walks, like Jim and Pam walk.
they just walk it. Yeah. Andy runs and he has like the nipple chafing, so he's just like bleeding through like his shirt.
Yeah, and then Michael obviously going
Michael's
hardcore.
going hardcore. He
Like,
has
he
like a
didn't-
jug of milk.
Yeah, he drank a jug of milk. But then you also say in the episode, like either he didn't eat anything or like, he ate a ton.
He ate like he ate. Remember
Like,
he had the pasta. He had the pasta. He had the pasta.
Yeah,
and
he
the
had like
milk.
the pasta Alfredo, I think. And then he was like, he's like, athletes usually eat this
So you gotta
stuff
need to
like the night
carb up,
before, but
yeah.
you need to carb up. So I was like, oh God, this is gonna
so
happen.
funny.
Yeah, no, that was such a great episode. That was also the first episode where Jim and Pam, I think, were together, right? That was the first.
That was one of the first.
That was
ones,
the
yeah.
opener. That was the opener for season 4, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good episode. For me, my 5 is the farm episode. Is in season 9. When
Really, you like that episode, huh?
Yes, I did. Only because, well, not only because, but this is the hardest I laughed at the show, to be honest.
Okay.
I love the scene where Dwight was like throwing the sand at everybody. He was like, "You get like the reds."
Oh, yeah,
and like
yeah.
Oscar's the only one who got the red sand. It was like, what was it, between like regular sand and red sand?
Yeah, something like
and
that,
literally,
yeah.
Oscar's the only one who got the red sand. So like he
Yeah.
pulls up to the funeral, and then Dwight's like, "Wait, what are you doing here?" He's like, "I got the red sand." He's like, "Oh yeah." And he like looks at the camera doing like his like smirk or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like another reason why I liked episode 5 so much was when they wanted to make sure the person in the casket was dead because they were having like issues with the other. They had like issues or whatever. Like somebody
Yeah.
actually survived. So Dwight like takes the shotgun and just like shoots him 5 times or whatever. And that's like where I lost it. 'Cause I remember being away on a trip and I was just in my hotel room dying, and my brother's like, "Shut up."
You know that was a soft pilot, right?
A soft pilot.
Yeah. So
Right.
basically, they were gonna have a spin-off of The Office called The Farm.
Oh yeah,
And it was gonna be all those characters. So
Yeah, that was kind of them
that
showing.
episode
Yeah.
was gonna be the pilot.
Yeah. So whatever happened to that? I remember.
So they made the episode. They didn't like it, NBC.
Yeah.
So they said just make it an episode of The Office.
Okay, that's I didn't. I mean, I remember hearing not too long ago that they were gonna release The Office, like in the future or whatever. They're gonna like a new.
I hope
thing.
they don't do that. I really hope not.
I just want to like
Because
keep it the way
you
it
can't have
is.
Michael.
You can't have Michael.
You can't have Jim and Pam.
You can't have Jim and Pam. Creed's probably dead.
You can't have Daryl.
Yeah. Or Creed's probably in jail.
So I mean, what else
Yeah.
is there?
Yeah, everybody's gone. I mean, did Angela leave? Like once she married Dwight, they ever say that?
No, I think they're still working there. I think it's presumed they're still working there.
Yeah.
But Andy left too.
Stanley retired.
Stanley retires.
Yeah.
Andy left.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just don't think you'd basically just have to just do a whole new show at that point.
Yeah.
Just get everybody. You know what I mean? Just do a brand new show.
I remember watching the actor who played Kevin. I can never remember his name. It's like a really long last name.
Mhm.
I actually can't remember the first name, to be honest. But I remember he was saying in an interview that he would be down to do like that type of thing. But he wanted it to be like where he wanted to be like as many returning members as possible.
I feel like
And
everyone has said that like they're not going to do it unless everybody does it. And
yeah,
then,
and obviously Steve Carell's not going to do it.
Steve Carell said he's not going
John
to do
Krasinski
it.
is blowing up with his own stuff.
If I'm John Krasinski, I'm not going back to that.
No, yeah, he's got like Jack Ryan, right? That's
He has
like his
Jack
new
Ryan. He has A Quiet Place.
Quiet Place.
Yeah,
That's a new thing. Yeah.
No, dude, absolutely not.
Yeah, and I think they'd be able to get Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey back.
Oh, absolutely.
Only because they do the podcast, and same with Rainn Wilson. He always talks about that show. Like, in his interviews. Granted, he's interviewed about it.
But he said it's over. He said
Yeah.
it ended the way it ended.
Yeah, that's true too.
And you can't have The Office without Dwight.
Definitely not. It's not. Dwight is the.
If you don't
face of
have
that
Dwight,
show.
Michael, Andy,
Yeah.
or Jim, you don't have
Yeah.
anything.
So who would you consider the face of that show? Because I've always considered it to be Dwight. Like I've always.
No,
felt,
it's Michael.
Really? No, I
Yeah.
mean, I think, I mean, obviously, like Michael was a close second for me, but I just felt
I would say
before
there are
watching.
4 main characters, probably Michael, Dwight, Jim, and Pam.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that, but I always remember before I watched the show, I always knew who Dwight was before watching. Like, I always just
Okay.
recognized him. To
Yeah.
be honest, I remember like before I started the show, that's when my friend was like, "Oh, you know Steve Carell's on this show too." I'm like, "Oh, really? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that." Like, so Dwight was always that character for me that
I got you.
I knew he was in it. Didn't know the name of the actor at the time. Obviously, it's Rainn Wilson, but I knew seeing his face that he was in the show. All right, so number 4 for me. Number 4, I think this is, I guess you could say like an iconic episode. Most people love this episode. This is really what got me into the show. Because to be honest, for me, the first season of The Office didn't really do it for me. The first,
the first season's not that good.
Yeah, well, it was funny at certain points, but I remember just like at the end of the season, just being like saying to my friend or whatever, like my brother, whoever I was talking to,
Mhm.
I was like, "Does it get better after this?" And like, "Oh yeah, season 1's like the worst season."
Yeah.
I've always thought that season 2 is the best season, but that's just me. And that's the fire episode. Like the episode where like Ryan started the fire with, with his like pizza, with like his microwavable pizza or whatever. Yep. I rewatched this episode yesterday actually. I was too stupid to even figure out that it was Ryan because there was a scene where I saw Ryan like taking.
They sing a whole song called "Ryan Started the Fire."
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like I was while watching the episode. I was like I'm talking about the first time I watched the show. The first time I watched that episode, I was like, "Who the heck could have possibly started the fire?" But they showed Ryan unwrapping his pizza thing after talking to Michael.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh," because I didn't even notice that scene watching it originally. When I just rewatched it, yes, I was like, "Oh, that's how they made it so obvious."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love the song. The Ryan Started the Fire song was easily one of the best parts they could have done in the show. I also loved how Michael just showing Ryan the ropes and like the office, but how Ryan was like, "I'm taking business classes," and Michael was like, "Oh, I know a lot about business. Like, ask me anything." and then Ryan asked him like this insane question that like I obviously wouldn't know. You probably wouldn't know. Like,
I'd probably know.
Actually, yeah, you're a business major.
Yeah,
actually,
I'd probably know.
But,
I'm probably 99% confident. If you ask me a business question, I'd be
able to answer it. But he like, asked this question. I was like, I have no idea. It was like something about like Microsoft or whatever, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I think like Michael made up its like weird answer or whatever. And then Dwight was like playing the
I just remember when he was like, I think it's that episode where he's like, I didn't go to college. He goes, so what? It's like LeBron James didn't go to college.
Didn't go to college.
Kobe Bryant didn't go to college.
Granted, they were all in the NBA, but like, yeah, that was great. I remember Dwight like blasting his sad music in the car when it was like Brian is starting to replace him or whatever. Like that, Michael's favorite. God, that episode just has so many highlights for me. Like when they're like standing in like the circle playing like the Survivor Island game. Like even that was like funny at certain points. Like overall, that episode easily number 4 for me.
So number 4 for me is the episode where Michael drives into the lake.
All right,
Dwight.
That was definitely one of my favorite scenes. I didn't put it in my thing, but
that's like so the episode where they go around, they give gift baskets. It's like everybody they're trying to get like
they're trying to get their clients,
their old clients back. That's after Michael Scott Paper Company, right?
Yes.
Everyone that left from Michael Scott Paper Company, so now Michael Scott is trying to bring them back to Dunder Mifflin. He's giving everybody gift baskets. Everybody's like, accepting the gift baskets, but like not coming back. So they're like, all right, like, oh, and then they go to get the gift baskets back. Yeah. So they're like, so then they're just driving around like, oh, this stinks. And then the GPS like make a right, and it's merely like a hang right. So he just makes like a hard right, like right into a lake.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's no road here.
There's no road. I think I'm trying to think of the amount of time. Was that Dwight's car or Michael's car?
It was Michael's car.
It was Michael's car. I think Michael's car got destroyed a couple times from my, or there, maybe not Michael's car, but there's always a car destroyed. I feel like in each season. And like, I remember Andy's car when he sold it to Dwight or whatever.
And then Dwight immediately resells it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was that was great. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything else to add for that? That episode again, definitely one of the things that before watching the show, I remember watching a bunch of GIFs. I got to post like a lot of GIFs in like my group chats or whatever. That was like a GIF my friends would post. Like that's like
you say GIFs.
GIFs.
You say GIFs. You're not a GIF guy. I don't like GIFs either.
I'm not a GIF guy.
It's GIF.
It's GIF. Yeah, everybody's watching. It's GIF.
Yeah.
Like, I remember hearing that's a different topic. I'm going
Well,
off
apparently the
topic.
guy who invented it says that they're GIFs,
Yeah, but
but
everyone
then you
calls them
spell it
GIFs.
with the J then.
Yeah, spell with a J.
Yeah.
It's GIF.
Yeah,
GIF.
exactly.
I don't understand, man. But yeah, I mean, I saw so many GIFs of like them crashing into the lakes. That's also something I knew was gonna happen throughout watching the show. I just
Yeah.
didn't know why.
hmm
I mean, yeah, I love when they were taking the gift baskets away. That was great overall. But yeah, moving on to top three.
Ooh, top 3.
This was, I think, the harder part. But at the same time, this is also where I knew what I was gonna have in my top 3, but I didn't know what order I wanted to put them in. So, do you want to go first with your third, or do you want me to
Yeah,
go
so my third is one of my favorite scenes.
Awesome.
And just an overall a great episode. Is when Michael threatens to jump off the roof.
Oh yeah, with the
yeah.
what was it with the it was like the safety training.
Yeah,
there.
the safety thing. Nobody's taking it seriously.
Yeah, and
So
Dwight was like,
Michael fakes depression.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, oh, my life, and like that part always gets me when like they're running out and like, Michael, what's wrong? He's like, oh, my life, my life,
and he's gonna like jump off the roof back on the other side. It has like the moon bounce.
Yeah,
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 catch him up. That was great.
And then everybody sees that and they're like, Michael, please don't jump off the roof.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that reminds me of the parkour episode where like Andy, Dwight, and Michael were doing the parkour, and like was it Andy that just like fell through the garbage? That was great. So yeah, I mean, my third favorite episode was the Dundies. This is a classic.
Oh, it's such a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, before I even get into the episode, it's just a clever idea overall. The
Absolutely.
Dundies, like for a type of character like Michael, they had to have done some sort of like an Oscar spinoff, like the Oscar spinoff, like the awards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I just think that they definitely hit a home run with this idea. With like drunk Pam, where she was like, I'd like to thank everybody for this award.
I
this
feel
Chili's.
God.
I feel God in this Chili's.
Tonight.
That was it. Yeah, I feel God in this Chili's tonight. And like Stanley winning hardest worker or whatever. That was that was just like I was just shocked how he won that award. And then Ryan winning hottest in the office. I was like, they're like, and Michael's like, next for hottest in the office. From my first time watching it, I was like, probably Pam. And then he's like, Ryan. I was like, oh yeah, I'm stupid. Like, how could I not even know that?
That's so funny.
Yeah, no. I mean, I always loved like Ryan and Michael together in scenes. That's just great overall. But yeah, I mean, the Dundies, I liked how they always like had it repetitive throughout. I remember like the last Dundies episode,
they always had Dundies,
yeah, like, that was like one of their ongoing episodes, as well as like the Halloween episodes and the Christmas episodes. That's something that they had to keep going.
Absolutely, I like when shows do that.
Yeah, I remember like in the Halloween episodes where like the costume parties back, they're like, last year we lost it for this reason or whatever. Now I'm doing it for this reason, like that type of stuff.
Yeah,
like how they were referring back to other episodes and whatnot. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, that's my third.
So for me, for number 2, even though I did already say this episode, but again, I thought we were doing moments.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscommunication, but we're good.
So for me, my second favorite moment is the fire drill.
All right. Yeah, that was easily one of my favorite moments too, and that's actually in my 2 also. So we can both talk about.
I just feel like that's just such like a funny, like it's such like a chaotic, like however many minutes, it's like a 5-minute, like everyone just running around. Angela throws the cat
up to the ceiling,
like save Bandit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was the best opening to any Office episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that right there. If you were gonna show,
like today's the day smoking's gonna save lives.
And she drops the cigarette in the garbage. I don't know how Dwight became a fire marshal.
I don't know.
Like, I really just have no idea how they could have possibly given that man a license to do that.
And then they're like trying to get out, and Dwight's like, touch the doorknob. He's like, is it hot? It's like, what does warm mean?
What does warm mean?
And then they take the copy machine, they like throw it out the window.
Yeah.
And then I forget, isn't it Kevin? Kevin's like, the fire is shooting at us.
Yeah,
the firecrackers are going
shooting at us. I talking about Kevin, I always love listening to his actors' interviews because
he sounds nothing like Kevin.
Yeah, it's just hilarious to me. I don't know why. Just like there's just that type of thing. Like, it's impressive how he can do a voice like that throughout an entire episode. Like, I don't know how that's not, or maybe it is straining on his voice or something, but I don't know how.
I couldn't tell you.
Like, that man could have voiced Cookie Monster. Like that dude could do anything.
Well, they do that. Remember that one episode they replaced Cookie Monster with
Kevin's
voice?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what's your number one?
Okay. So my number one, my number one has to be Threat Level Midnight.
Okay.
That episode for me was as I told you, I had trouble coming up with my top three. I had them out, but I didn't know where I wanted to put what. And in the end, I chose this episode simply because I recently the Office YouTube channel posted like the
full
movie
the
of
full
it.
movie. Yeah.
So I rewatched that, and I just forgot how funny the episode was until recently. You know, and then the fact that it's just so corny. My favorite, it's just like another great opening was when like the guy was like, this package is delivered personally, and he takes out like the gun or whatever, and Michael's just like dodging it. What's like woo,
or when Dwight thinks he's a robot but he's not.
Yeah, when he was feeding him the freaking oil at the end, he's like go go go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, and then the thing I wanted to say in that episode was Toby doing with the head explode.
He
made Toby's
like that
head
was
explode.
75% of our special effects budget.
Yeah. I mean, Stanley doing the voiceover, it kind of like a Morgan Freeman kind of thing. Like that was great overall. And I think that with that episode happening, that was a must-have for Michael's character. Like, Michael, if being as self-centered as he was, and like all just him as a person, that would be something that he would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just that was honestly so funny to me. That episode would just never. That's one of the episodes that will never get old to me. I could show. Yeah. I was like showing it to my friends recently though, like people who haven't watched The Office. And they're like, "How'd you find this funny?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Like this is
no, it's so funny." Well, I feel like it's so funny. Like to that point, like. It's funny because like the characters.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know the characters,
if they did that,
it wouldn't be funny.
I guess if they did that in the first episode, then
you'd be like, "What the heck is this?"
But...
Yeah, that's why like there's certain points in The Office, especially towards the end, where like stuff is just funny just because of like the characters.
Definitely.
Like you'll see like Dwight and like somebody else walk into a room and be like, "Oh God, like what's gonna happen?" and it's just so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what's your one?
My number one, and this has been my favorite Office episode forever.
All right.
Probably since the day that I saw it. Is and I'm happy that we're doing episodes because I did originally do a moment, but it's really just the whole episode that I love.
Yeah.
It's when Pam gives birth.
Oh yeah.
So that whole episode, when like Pam, she goes in like the labor, and they're like Dwight, we need an escort.
And and then he puts the siren on top of his car, and he's like pulled over 2 seconds.
And then they go out, they leave the parking lot, and then Dwight immediately hits on the brakes. He's like, Michael, it's like. This is where I saw that deer. They're like, oh, really?
Really? And Michael's like, oh, wait, what?
And then they're like, Dwight, we need you to get my iPod. And then he just breaks into their house.
Yeah, and he finds mold. He's like, I couldn't find the
iPod.
And
he redos their kitchen.
Yeah, he's like, Pam, I couldn't find the iPod, but I found mold in your kitchen. He just demos the entire kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
And then at the end of that, like part two of that, that was a 2-part episode. Jim and Pam just walking into their house with their new baby, and it is like seeing like the house just like half destroyed. Just like, okay, and then he's like, go. Like they don't say anything. They just like walk past. And like, I'll be out of your hair by tomorrow.
And then Michael like lights a cigarette like in like the infantry, like the infant unit. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I mean, funny. I was just finding it so funny too. Michael was like, I'm gonna be this baby's godfather or whatever. I mean, maybe if he stuck with Pam's mom, but like,
oh my god, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, throughout The Office, there's just so many episodes.
Oh, there's so many moments. There's so many moments.
Again, like this was so hard for me to come up with a list for because, like, there's just I thoroughly enjoyed 90% of the episodes of The Office throughout. Like I think that obviously if we had more time, as we did like a 5-hour special, that we do our 50.
I could absolutely have like break down like
we do like our top 50 favorites. That would be crazy. I remember I was talking to my friend. I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this for my show this week." Like, you're not doing that many episodes, right? They thought I was doing like all 9 seasons. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing? No, but God, I mean, this show just has so many amazing things. So now I want to ask you, if you had an honorable mention, we've been doing this for the past 2 weeks now. What would your honorable mention be? Whether it's an episode or a moment,
I would say that my honorable mention would definitely be Threat Level Midnight. I feel like that's really funny.
Yeah, I was surprised that you didn't have that one in your top.
It was just hard, I like Threat Level Midnight, but I think another one that I really liked, that I originally had, but was when Jim convinces Dwight that they kidnapped What's his face's? Oh my god, I always forget his name.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely.
His son. They kidnapped. Oh my
With
god.
the white son?
No.
No.
Who's the guy that works for corporate? That's always in it. The guy with the glasses that Michael is always with.
David Wallace.
David Wallace.
Yeah,
They
David Wallace.
They convince Dwight. Jim convinces Dwight that they kidnapped David
Wallace,
Wallace's
the
son. Yeah. So
yeah,
he's
now I
like
remember.
on the phone like negotiating.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, I have like a few things, just like stuff that's like happening and whatnot, but my honorable mention mainly is Pretzel Day. That episode was awesome. Like it shows like Michael and Stanley actually get. I think the one time in the show where Michael and Stanley had a similar interest, a similar view, and that's where they're getting along. And then when Phyllis is gonna cut the line to go with like Bob Vance or whatever, and they're like, no cutting back of the line. And then also when Michael like orders, he's like, I can't think of what I want to have in my pretzel. Just give me everything. So it's like always like gummy worms and like a bunch of like disgusting stuff that you would not put on a pretzel. That was awesome. And he's like, the one thing I look forward to every day. I've worked this job for like 12 years. I hate everything, but I do like Pretzel Day. Yeah, I mean that's great. Another thing that I thought of was when Dwight got the concussion. Remember that? Like he drove out, he got the concussion, he just pukes on his car hood in front of like everybody. That was great overall. But yeah, I mean that pretty much concludes the show for the Office episodes. Like we said, it's very hard for this.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one for sure. Other than the fact that we weren't on the same page with what we were gonna do, but overall, I mean, I think that if you ever watch The Office, first off, what are you doing? But also get on that, watch the show. So yeah, it's gonna conclude the show. Join us next Monday. I had a brain fart there. Join us next Monday at 3:00. And if you have any ideas, let us know in the comments. Until then, have an awesome rest of your weekend.